So today we're going to go through Earthworks and Slab. What did I just change? Slab takeoff and even peers, reading soil reports. Just pretty much everything, but that's a lot to go through. All right, so first thing we'll start with is
Almost family.
Elmo, you want to put yours on mute?
Just a minute.
The crashing waves are too noisy.
What he really means is it's making me jealous. Wish we were.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to just start with Earthworks. Obviously, now that we have fixed rates, they are based on roughly 50-50, 60-40 cut and fill. So if we do have jobs outside of that, if it's all cut, so if the cut line's at the front and the whole rest of the block's cut, you'll still need to send it for a quote.
It doesn't look like it should be at the front. We clarify and be like, please move this because it affects.
Unless it's for driveway grading.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's something to look out for because they can sometimes move it. It's saves you a few thousand on your quotes sometimes.
Yep. So if they can't move it, then just obviously send it for a quote.
Yep.
So for example, this job we're looking at is Illusion, which is the 126991. So start with, on the plans it says finished cut is 22.2. So, which is this dotted line. It goes back there and there. Why is that not? Is it delayed? There we go. Click, and it works. It's a bit slower than it was last time. So yeah, that's not a great example because it's probably 70-30 realistically, isn't it?
What did you do in this case?
Pardon?
What did we do here?
Well, you're still going to have to look at all the levels. So we're still going to look how much fall there is. Now, when we're looking at the fall, we're not doing the whole block. We're just working out the platform. So when I'm talking of platform, I'm pretty much allowing to go that area. There's no point going, we're not cutting all the way to the back fence, so we don't need to allow for the cut. So when we're talking, we're just talking a building platform, which on, it is, just a bit of a check. Yeah, it's a single. It's only like a metre around the house. So that's, then you're going to try and, from that area, look at what your levels are. So we've got there's a 22.25 there, 22.16, 22.09. Like going outside it, so you got 22.02, 22.08. Obviously the cut line is where that's, so by going off that 22.08 to 22.5, we've got less than 200 mil of cut realistically. Them levels aren't real good to actually be able to see them, are they? So for this platform, I'd give a 0 to 200 mil cut, realistically. We're still, because we're probably filling, it'll actually be all right, I reckon, just using the rates, because it's not, won't be exporting. We might have to import though, that's where it's tight. I'd rather still just send the 0 to 2, and if the ETO comes, I'd rather pay it that way than actually over allow.
Overpay each time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can you maybe draw one on the screen just with like what a cut line would look like if it was definitely have to be?
I've got another one.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said we've got multiple ones here. I've got a lot of different allowances.
I see.
So for this one, we just say we'll allow 0 to 200 mil cut.
So we had a question from Elmo typed in, will retaining wall affect the site cut?
Existing, or you're talking us putting on retaining walls?
This type.
Putting on a retaining wall. Well, that means, yeah, it would, because it'll be a deeper cut. It's simple that if we need retaining walls, the cut's going to be higher than 400 realistically.
Yeah.
Unless it was all cut. For example, at 400 mil, you'd need retaining walls. So we can usually get away without them up until about 600 mil. All right, so that's how we'd work out the cut for this one. Then I've got the engineering as well. Damn it, that's upside down. And you've all got the soil report for this job as well, which is inclusion, sorry. On the front page, obviously, P due to fill, quaternary deposits, so there is rock. The next page of it just shows where the boreholes were dug. And then I'm going to go to the third page of it, which is the depth of the bore log holes. So I'm going to bring it up. So the things I want to explain on a soil report, come on, here we go, is explain what terminated. So terminated means that they've stopped drilling. So they'll stop at 2 meters if they haven't got anything. So when it states terminated, that just means that they've stopped and you can still go further. So if, for example, we have piers on this job like we do, just flick back to the end, and it states, luckily enough, that they're 2 meters deep. Once it loads, that piers have got to be 2 meters deep, which is how far they drilled anyway. But if that said 2.5, for example, then we would be still able to drill the piers at 2.5 meters deep. So terminated means just that they've stopped. Refusal, which I'll show you on another soil report, means that they've actually stopped because they can't get any further down. So the difference is refusal, we need to calculate the depth of the refusal to work the piers. When it says terminated, we have to go off what the engineering states how deep they need to be. So for example, this one, all these piers are going to be at 2 meters deep. All right. So on all of them, all 3 holes, it states terminated. So we can go to the depth of 2 meters as per the engineering. That's just probably the terminology. If for some reason we have seen it before that they've got terminated, but they're all at different depths, usually we'll go back and clarify it with the engineer because it's probably wrong, that it should state refusal.
Yeah, that happened to a job a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
So they'll usually, they've been told to drill to 2 meters. That's when they stop. So unless it stated refusal at 2 meters, we know there's rock. But when it states terminated, simple, they've just stopped drilling. We can still drill further.
So if we see a 2 and then a 2.5 and then a 2, we send that, just don't clarify, just send it back to the engineer being like this.
More so if it said 1.8, 1.5 and 1.1,
yeah,
but it stated terminated.
Yeah,
that's where I'd be querying.
Yeah, okay.
But they should always, if it was 2 and 2.5, like sometimes they do drill deeper, but
yeah,
unless it states.
The only if one's like stops really early,
yeah,
you know, they usually hit something. Yeah,
That just means when they've typed it up, they've done it wrong.
Yeah.
So on this job, all piers can be as per the engineering at 2 meters deep. So we could freeze on me. So if we're working at the labour for the piers, we count up all the piers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So I'll be writing here that there's, what are you doing? There's 42 piers at 2 meters deep. So you can, use it still on my other document.
Still on the tender, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's about PV.
Yeah, it's a BV. There we go. So there's 42 piers at 2 meters deep. We can, by putting it into the takeoff, it's going to work out the quantity of, but we already know that there's 84 linear meters. So that's piers. When we are still doing slab takeoff, the other items we need to allow is
just a quick one on the piers. Are you going to add additional for like the fill of the lot?
not really, because it's still going to be dug to 2 meters.
Still dug.
So it's still going to be average. You still think it's going to be an average anyway, because even if the cut and fill, you'll be doing these after the cut, so they should all still be 2 meters.
Yeah, it was just like if there was a job that had, so it was close to the corner, and the majority of it was fill.
Yep.
So by the end time you got to the corner of lot, say that was 500 higher.
Yep.
Would you be making those piers deeper for factor fill?
Yeah, you probably work the out, like still maybe put 200 on top.
Yeah.
So, because not all of them are going to be 500, it's only that far corner.
Yeah.
You can still work the average, yeah.
Because I'd have done it the same way you did for this one, because it's pretty close. But if it's an extreme, you're happy for us to add fill on top.
Yep.
Of it.
Yep. So what Kane was just stating is if everything was all fill, for example, then we need to, by the note, says 900 mil into natural stiff sandy silty clay and 2 meters below. So if 2 meters wasn't 900 in, you still need to work the 900 mil in to the, so that's because by putting fill on top of it, we still need to get down to that founding depth. So that's what Kane was just talking about, of adding fill onto the depths of the piers, which is correct. All right. So we're going to go continue with the slab. So we have, it's a 4B, N16. Come on. There we go. 311 trench mesh to the top, 2 to the bottom, and N16 and SL92 is a 4B. So when, obviously the rate includes the external perimeter of the trench mesh. So the spots that I've highlighted blue, we need to add the additional. So it's got to be the same as the external. If you read the note over here, so the hatch section denotes external shall be continued the same as an internal. So that means that we need to allow the extra trench mesh to go there, and we need to allow 3 layers of it because there's 2 to the bottom and 1 to the top. So by working out by adding the lineal meters, so why I'm not having the garage external is it's already included. So it's just the internal ones that are the same that we need to work the extra trench mesh for. So there's that one to the porch, there's the one going across the rear of the garage, and then the garage length plus the 2 going to the external garage wall. So you just work the lineal meters, so 6.5 for the garage wall, adding 1, so we're at 8.5, so we've got the garage covered, adding another 1.5 for that porch, so we're at 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 at 1.2, so you're adding about 4.5 meters for that rear, for this one, at the rear of the garage continuing through. This there.
Just so we're clear, because you're working out 1.2 meters per waffle pod, correct?
Correct, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the pods are 1.09 and the internal rib's 110. So when I, just by calculating how many pods there are, that's how I'm calculating the length. Correct. Yep. Except for if it's cut, you can see the ones that aren't cut. So, so for this, I should have bought a calculator again. So we're at, what did I say, 14.5. You times that by 3, divided by 5.4, tells you you need to order 8.05. So you round it up to be 9 lengths. Or I'd probably round that down to 8. that one's close enough to being 8 because you were allowing a little bit extra anyway. So as it states up here. It tells you still 300 mil wide, 311 trench mesh top and bottom. It's exactly the same for both of them. So just write down, so you're gonna add 8 trench mesh. So, and we obviously have to order full lengths of trench mesh. We can't order half the length of trench mesh. So that's just one thing why we round it to the full number. Okay. The other thing we need to look at on this engineering is, because we've got piers, we've got Y12 bars on top of the piers that we need to add and calculate in as well. So I used to do the same method of just working out by pods, because you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, roughly 4.5 pods is 5.5 meters. 2 dotted hatches, number 2 on top. There you go.
I thought Stuart was trying to say something, but you could barely hear Stuart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crank the mic up.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Stu just picked up that 2 top. Yeah. So then, right, so that was the garage one. So the garage one, we need to add, I'd be adding 1 extra length. 2 extra lengths, sorry. So yeah, we've got 2 top and 2 bottom for the garage landing, yep. So that would alter 8 to be 10. Because we're adding an extra, 6.5 meters plus 1 plus 1. You're at 8.5 meters, and they're 5.5, so we'd be rounding it up to another 2. So 10, we'll order 10 trench mesh. Good pickup, Stu. Back to, so then we still need to add the Y12 bars, so these black lines that are on top. So we need to work out how many, the other thing you could do is work out the width of it. Pretty much it's going to be 2 across, and just count them across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we'll count that, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'd be allowing another 14, but we obviously have 5 as standard, so we're going to make it 19 we have to order in total. So I'm going to add 14 for that. And once we've got, that's the steel, the additional steels that we need to order. We still need to work out the bulking that's going to be missing from the bulking that's not going to, the pods they're not going to put in. For example, you're not going to put that slitter in down the side of the garage, which I've just highlighted in red once it pops up. Down there's probably around the alfresco, that front pier. You look across the front of the garage as well, there's a whole one there as well.
I think across that whole front would be bulky sleeper. it's the same setup as the garage.
Yeah. Yep. So same, we're going to just work out from that the linear meters by 300 by 300 to add additional concrete into the slab. And that's just bulking. You've got your meter squared rates for the rest of the slab. This one, we don't have a condenser pad, so we don't need to worry about that. But it's the same, even for bulking, you could add an extra meter for the concrete going on for the hot water surface as well. And you're just double checking that there's nothing else that we need to be adding, and that would be that job done for slab. The next job we'll just look at site plan is 127790, which is 1455 Hardwood Grove. This is just a site plan. Now, this one we're just going to look at the cut realistically. As you can see, the cut, you look at the level on the porch, it says, under it says lot 45, it says the cut is FCL, finished cut level is 100. So the dotted line that they have at the front of the block is at 100. So this is where we're saying we're not at 50-50, 60-40. Now I was a bit cheeky with this one. I tried to put it through it at the cut level, how much falls on the block, because it's pretty much just a scrape, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, because they're taking more soil away, they hit us up for an extra, didn't they, Ari?
They sure did. Hit me up this morning for an extra, what was it, 1,200. So
1,200, just in pretty much getting rid of the soil.
yeah, I think what they calculate 140 cubic meters of soil exporting. So yeah.
But yeah, and it's the same principle again, that we would just be working. It is a single, isn't it? Just double check. Yeah, no, this one's a double. Okay, so it's a D6. So the platform, realistically, we're going to allow is 2 meters. So we'd be allowing pretty much 2 meters all the way around to work out the platform. And as you can see, if the cut's outside of that as well, it's telling us that you're pretty much cutting the whole platform, which we are. So for this example, we would actually just need to send it off for a quote.
Yeah.
Right. There's not much else we can do. You can go back to the drafty and ask the question exactly right. Why the hell have you cut it there? Because to me, there is no reason to. There is no
Explain to
reason.
me why it's
Yeah,
there.
unless you got like the only things that I could think of, especially with these double stories, is wall heights and setbacks and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we can just ask.
But that's the same thing though. If there's a wall height on the garage wall,
Yeah,
they've
you
got
can
an
just move it over.
they've got an eave across the front. We can run an eave down the garage.
Mm.
And it's not an eave, it's actually, so we're sitting on the tails, you'll have a rake on the ceiling in the garage. So it's possible to get away from it, but if they've got to learn that they can't, they're costing us by doing that.
Yeah.
That's the big issue that I need to sit down with drafting and have a chat to them. I was going to get Brownie involved in it on as well.
Yeah, have McCabe, Solomon, and Hayden. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of them, so if that's the whole reason they've done it, is that garage wall and boundary, then they've just cost us more than $1,000 realistically.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was 1,200, and we could have just been.
But it still would have cost me probably about $250 to do it, to do the rake on the garage ceiling. So still, it's about $1,000 it's cost us, just by the way that they've drawn it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth a clarification each time.
Yep. So if you've got it, always clarify it. That's a good point to make. And I'll be taking these examples back to them. So that's just one that's site plan that we would need to have that one definitely loaded. All right, I've got another one that's just a site plan. Nope, not that one.
Smokehouse.
Which is 13263, and that is smokehouse, correct. So this one's a single story, so an S8. Where'd you go? Now we obviously have, this one's got a big block because we've got a 14 run to the back of the house, to the back of the block.
It's a great block.
The block is 723. So we don't need to, when the inclusions that are on the site cuts is up to 450 meters squared. So we don't need to pay additional for this one because we still only work the platform that we're cutting. We're not cutting the whole entire block. So it's a single story, so we're just pretty much. So we only need the meter around the outside. So there's nothing, because the block is bigger, yes, but we don't need to for the site cut. We're still only working a platform. Now, that cuts pretty close to the front again.
Yeah, I got an email from Marvel. It was a bit. Yeah, again, it's questionable. We just send it off as it is and then see what happens. Like you said, if it comes back with an ATS, then like it's a good ATS because we tried to get away with the fixed rates.
Yeah, we're trying to get away with doing it as tight as possible, realistically.
Again, it's probably like, can the cut line just have been moved over to the 377.4? You know what I mean?
Or yeah, that's just the same thing, questioning. Like to me, this one has got, let's see, 377.3, 376. So I'm tipping they've cut it there for driveway gradient, because if you look at it, the street level,
680. It's about half.
street level there is 376.78.
Yeah.
So you've got, what's that, 500 mil plus the slab on top, you're at 8. You could, but your setback is 6.3. So you probably still could have gone back further.
Yeah, you could have gone back at least that. Yeah, definitely 100 mil.
So, but yeah, we would still then just look at the levels that we have inside. So 377.61, 377.56, you're 45, 377.16, 377.2. That's 775. So realistically, 16 is probably the lowest to 50, 60. So you're at 400. You'd be at probably 4 to 650.
That one is 37.75 and the house is at back
Is that 7? I can't even see that behind that dash. It could be, but yeah. Well, that's our excuse that we'll go on back to. Can you tell me what that is? Yeah, it probably is a 7.
Yeah, it probably is, yeah.
But I'll miss that one. But yeah, even if you did go to 7, realistically, you can go from 7, you're still at,
So it's still falling the same, yeah.
yeah, so you've still got 650 up to 654 realistically.
Yeah, just double check it because I had one from Marvel saying, "Oh, this one's 400 to 600," and I looked at it. I'm like, "No, it's not." And then they're like, "Oh, yeah, my mistake." So don't be scared to double question it as well. So yeah,
Yeah, they're only going to try and push for more money,
Yeah.
realistically. If we can push back, you can always flick it to me. I'm always happy to argue with people. So, yeah, for this one would be 4 to 6 ordering that, and hopefully we're getting away with the cut, but where we would say, yes, we want to clarify that cut level. Just to move it back that touch would be even better. Like even if you could try and say, cut it at 377.5, you're in between. If you're cutting it at 377.5, you'd be going through that section, which you're almost at 50-50.
Yeah.
So
Helps everyone.
you can use the rates. Yep. So it's just knowledge of looking at the cut, and by drawing that, like the box actually helps the platform to say, right, well, you can see how much of the platform where the cut is and how much we're filling and how much we're cutting. So it's a good guide to look at it that way. All right, so that was just another cut one. Another one to question drafting. All right, go back. That's a good question. Some of them are, some of them aren't.
what was the
So-
question?
Are drafting are aware of what, like we do, realistically?
Yeah.
Like our parameters for it.
Which I've been giving feedback to McCabe's team because he hasn't been doing anything. Where he's been cutting them, I've had to go back at him and say, well, work your driveway gradient and then tell me if you can cut it there realistically, because he can't.
Yeah.
He's not looking at that always. So
Have we ever, sorry, just a random question. Have we ever built a house where we've dropped the garage to deal with
Yep.
driveway gradient? Is the reason why we don't do it more often for those houses?
Yep, it creates issues.
Yeah.
We don't do deep and edge rebates,
Yeah.
or we try not to do. Our concreters hate them. Causes issues, obviously, because we're cutting 2 different cut levels. We've got lower. Where's the water go? It goes to the lowest point.
Yeah.
So it usually goes under the garage if it's not getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So, and that was one thing that they were drawing that I've told them not to draw ever again. Deep and edge rebates. So they were actually just doing it so they didn't have to do retaining walls. But I've told them that our process here is we retaining wall a level platform, then we build a house on top of it.
Okay.
So if you come across any with a deep and edge rebate, clarify it.
So it's just, yeah, so it's for like warranty and like the.
It's mainly just to keep our concreters happier.
Okay.
So, because we've done it, I've seen it drawn and they miss it.
Yeah.
And it causes more issues.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll look at. Obviously, scan this one in the wrong way, but. Focus. Zeppelin Way, Diggers Rest. So this one, a Zooey 121, so we've got a double story. All right. So the finished cut level was 99.9. So this one is all good, from my opinion, to use the rates. Once it draws the rest of it. There we go. You can see you're close enough 50, 50, 60, 40. So I'm happy to use the rates for this one. It's a double story. So we'd make sure that the platform's got a 2 meter platform around it. So and we're going to look for the levels inside the area. Still waiting for it to zoom. Alright, I'll start marking up the levels anyway. So that point down the very bottom, we've got 100. So we're cutting at 99.9. You're looking at that point there, you're at 99.8. So we're at 200 mil. You're at 220 now with that level there at 99.78. So we're going to be over the 200 mil. So we'd be using the 201 to 450. I think it is 450.
201, 400.
400. So because in 99.8, and if the same, if you followed that line there, that was 99.8, we're pretty good the whole way through. And by that 99.78 just puts us over.
Yeah.
So ordering the 2 to 400, 201 to 400 mil for the cut. All right, on this one then, we'll go to the engineering. From this go to Ari, 2.
Sorry.
This goes to 2, 3, sorry.
Training. Yeah, 3 o'clock. It's booked
Yeah,
in
that's
for.
right.
They're all booked in for an hour and a half. But if we
That's
go,
right. I think someone had it after us. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that we're not going to run them over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So most you'll find that they are the same slab, a 4B. Obviously, this one will downgrade the mesh because it's an 82. The 4B comes with a 92. So it's a 4B again. It's got piers. This one states to be 2.5 below existing and 900 into natural clay. So we'll go to the soil report. That's not the garage. Is it? Or that one?
Yeah, that's one.
There we go. Right, so Zeppelin saw report. Now, looking at this, come on, scroll. What's going on? Why are you guys not moving?
Should we be looking at the borehole?
Is it up? There we go.
Ah, there it is.
It's finally come up. All right, so as you can see on this one, it states refusal on moderately weathered basalt or boulder. So we are hitting rock. So this one, the first borehole stopped at 1.3, the second borehole stopped at 800, the third stopped at 500. So for the piers for this job, I average the depth of that. So we're going to go 1.3 plus 0.8 plus 0.5, which equals 2.6. Divide that by 3. So you're at 860. So I'd round it up to be 900 mil. So you just work out the borehole, the piers at 900 mil on this job. Everyone good with that? So we go back to the engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Count all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30. So there's 30 boreholes, times it by 0.9, there's 27 lineal meters. So that's what we'd be allowing for in labour. So 30 times 0.9 equals 27. That's all we work out for piers on this job. Then we'd be looking at the same again up the top, the solid hatches. That's this time I'll double check them, Stu. Actually, the same one, the clear one with the red line, states 2 311 trench meshes, top and bottom. And the solid hatch states 311 to the top and 2 to the bottom. So I'd work now that you picked up that they're different. We'll do this one. This one's blue. That one's purple. So purple one's the rear of the garage again, plus a re-entrance. So realistically for that one, you'll be looking at 3 meters. Hold on, it's still freaking slow. Hey Steve,
You know, the what is you that 900? Shouldn't we add the extra 300
Just one.
in the note?
Like,
You pretty much, they'll probably change them to slot it on site realistically. Yeah, but yes. Because if it's not all of them will be, who knows? If you all three boreholes have usually hit, then yeah, there's rock the whole way through it.
yeah, so they,
It says weathered basalt or boulder, so a boulder you're not going to go 300 mil into.
So more than likely they'll change them as well. They'll go to slotted
Okay.
because they won't dig into the rock.
yeah.
So I usually just go to the rock and then
I was going to say, I don't think we've had any issues for them chasing us up for extra linear meters if we just go rather than 300 for the rock. I don't think there's been any issues for them chasing us up for those extra linear meters.
no, I think yeah, that because they're not doing it, they're not really gonna sit there and drill into the rock.
Yeah, because if you've got 30 piers, they should be chasing up for an extra 9 linear meters realistically.
So we're getting away with it. But it's a site condition anyway if it does go to slotted piers.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be starting a precedent point.
Alright, so on the purple, we'll go 3 linear meters, 3 by 3. So 9 linear meters, you're gonna need 2 lengths of trench mesh for them. So, whereas in the other one, which was blue, we're gonna go 2, 4, 6, 8. And I believe it was about 13 meters across there. So we're at 21 linear meters. 21 times 3, 63. 63 divided by 5.4 to work out how many additional trench meshes, which will be 11.66, so we'll round that up to 12. So I'll just note that here. This one we're going to add 2 trench meshes. This one we're going to add 12 trench meshes. That's a good aim. So we're adding 14 trench meshes on total. Same again on this one would be then looking at the N12s that are above the piers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 additional plus, so times 7. There's obviously the 5 is standard, so we'd be ordering 12. Then the bulking factors that cut boxes that aren't going to be put in as well. The rear of the garage, they won't put that in. Front, down the side. The extra for the cut boxes there and there. You'd allow both of them. Another meter for that as well. This whole pod that's not going to get put in either. So the hatched one. And you could probably go the whole garage. Same thing, then we just total the linear meters. So you're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 6.5, so 13.5. So they're close to being half. No. they should be putting that in. If they're not putting that in, this is where we'll start making them pay for the concrete.
So when it's close to half,
Yeah. Only if it's about 300 mil, 3 to 4, you go, because they'll roll over as soon as they put the concrete in, realistically. So if it's about half, you should be leaving it. So then saying total up all the linear meters of red, I'd pretty much just count that the box as like 3 or 4 linear meters. Oh, like, because you've got 1.2, so probably 4 linear meters. Instead of putting it in its own self, I'd just go, well, that's 4 plus, and then adding the rest of it. So 4, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, plus 12. So I'd be going roughly about 36 linear meters by 0.3 by 0.3. Just at a quick calculation. Which that in turn, 36 times 0.3 times 0.3, it's adding in about 3.2 cubes for all that. All right. Meter squared rate for the rest of the slab is normal, and then we're done on that one. All right, so we've got only, I think, one more example to go through. We'll do the same again, both slab, the cut, and the slab. One, 2, 8, 1, 2, 9, 848, Guernsey Street in Donnybrook. Little able, single story, wall to wall. So that being a single story platform is pretty much each boundary a metre in front, a metre behind. A metre in front of it and a metre behind. And then we find the cut level. Just states it's 100.2. Which is straight in the guts. So we're good, 50-50, pretty much. Then we just need to work out how much fall it's got realistically. So we'd be going, well, at the front we're at 100. So we're already at 200 mil to the cut level. You got 100.28, 100.23. Well, if you look at the back of the block anyway, we're about 300 mil. So same again, we'd be doing the 201 to 400 cut for this job. Once everything finally catches up on the screen.
Almost laptop batteries died at the beach.
It's frozen.
So just messaged me saying my battery.
He hasn't moved.
The message we would have.
died. He turned his off.
No one knew he was gone. Too busy looking.
Yeah.
If he didn't message me, we wouldn't have known. Yeah. But your screen sharing stopped, I think.
No, that's.
There you go, mate.
Says I'm still sharing. What dropped off? Stop sharing and sharing and see if that works. Come on, catch up. Here we go. Now he's gone. Why is this not sharing now? Hold on. Got no internet, that's why.
Oh, you got no internet.
Yeah, it's just dropped off.
Okay.
Internal connected, okay. So it's connected now.
Let's go sneeze, bro. We're frozen.
So it's probably stopped recording, has it? Or not?
No, well, it's still ticking.
That's hopefully working, yeah. Come on, you stupid thing. Fine. Come on. Rejoin the call. Join now.
How many ITAs have we got today, Stotts?
Unlock 2 or 3. I'm trying to do one more check. Issue Claros on. Yes, they're trying to push it on July. I literally just issued Claros on one, and now I've got to do another. And then I think I'll just be on a locking spree pretty much after that.
Okay.
Okay, now
Jobs. I believe you can fly.
Is it still recording or not though?
it's still ticking on.
It says stop recording, so it's still hopefully still recording.
Add a few slabs at least.
Eh?
Add a few slabs to look at least. This is weird because it's frozen on the left.
Yeah, no. That's when we just dropped that again.
What is it?
I just dropped out again.
Yeah, need triggers update.
No, it's. Yes. What do we got left? 20 minutes.
You are going to IT.
Yeah, just quickly going to grab some from IT, I think.
How's the office today? Noisy?
A lot going on.
So much noise.
This morning,
We don't much gap.
We know everything about Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Bruce,
nice and quiet when they're waiting for their meeting.
Yes. Can't hear any voices.
yeah, I managed to weasel myself out of that one as well.
Yeah, just tell us the jobs you need.
Yeah, pretty much. Me sitting in the workflow, I could probably do a PG check quickly and issue. Eva, and I think I've got a little.
PG, you're going to enjoy this video.
Yeah. Not seeing any voice or something. Not seeing any voice.
Having some technical issues, Guy, just in case you have.
Yeah.
Two attempts.
Alright. I don't think we're gonna have any more.
That's it.
Call it.
We've gone through, well, I can't, what's going on yet. He doesn't know what's going on with the internet, so. We're only gonna go through one more example, so I think we've gone through, what, 4 or 5 now? So.
Yeah, well, I think we've covered off, yeah. I mean, various earthworks. You know, we talked about the difference between terminated and refusal when it comes to reading soil reports and board piers. Yeah, obviously your trench.
Additional steel for slabs.
Yeah, the steels, the slabs. So unless anyone's got any questions,
I have one.
We cover how to do widened edge beams.
Wide? No.
If they go to 400.
Yeah.
Nah. We haven't.
How often does widened edge beams pop up?
Not so much now, but it
Not
used
so
to
much.
a lot.
Yeah.
Not too often though.
No, so but that's an easy one. All you're pretty much doing is working the lineal meters of the external rib. So just go by the whole slab perimeter. You're only putting in 0.1 of a width by 0.3 for the depth. So that's all we're adding the additional concrete in, which is taking it back further in. So the points will be back further.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a spot in the takeoff that states for widened edge beams. So,
CPG are putting it in a lot.
but as long as they can be using it for something else as well to calculate other areas, which is fine. What were you going to say, Kane?
Oh, just because I couldn't remember. I'm sure you explained to me when I started. But when we're looking at a 4B slab, we've got the 2 3 L11s or the 3 ends to 16 bars. Why do we go the double layer of L11s rather than the ends to 16 bars at the bottom?
It's just cheaper.
It's cheaper to go 2 layers. Really?
And it's mainly because for them to put in the single bars,
Yeah.
they charge more labour.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Because they actually have to space them properly. And so they've all got to be put in individually spaced and on packer.
Yeah.
So it's quicker for them and easier to use the 311 trench meshes.
So the N16 bars doesn't come as like a trench mesh as well?
No, so that's what a trench mesh is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 3 of them welded together, pretty much.
Yeah.
With like separators.
Yeah, so because in my head I was just like, surely it'd be more expensive and time consuming on site to get the 2 layers done than the 1.
No.
But it's actually quicker to do the 2. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So
With this job we're about to work on the borehole logs, the first borehole.
which was Guernsey, was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been 3 times your KPA, there's 2 attempts of refusal. What do you do, what do you do with that borehole? You just open the renting garage.
So yeah, pretty much. If it's had 2 refusals, I'm tipping it's the same. It's a rock.
Yeah.
It's the same. If you look at the others, they've all stopped. Refusal. So I'd be pretty much just going, yeah, well, at 1500 you've hit rock, 1700, 1900. So your average would be 1.7.
Yeah.
That was the easiest one for average I've ever seen. It's the cleanest you're gonna get it.
Yep, 2, 2, and 2. So cool.
Cool, man.
All right.
Appreciate it, Slab.
No worries. I'll send this. I'll download this again, and send it across, so you can go through it again, and then rewatch it. If you've got any questions, come back to me and Ari and let us know.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
Yep.
Just one question. How about chip footing? Chip footing.
Strip footing.
Yep.
Strip footing.
Strip footing. Yep. That's just obviously because we're digging that. That's always a strip footing is dug. So we're always going to have to pay usually you just, whatever the width of it is, by the depth that you need to go to, and it's gonna be, well, most of them, it matches the external rib, so if it's a 300 mil external rib, then it'll be 300 mil wide. Then you just need to work out the depth of the engineering. And it's the bottom right-hand part of the takeoff, that's for strip footing, so you just told length by width by depth, and it'll tell you it adds 15% wastage for your concrete for that. So that's the only other time, if an external rib as well states that it's over 385, if it says 785, we only dig the 400 mil over the 385. That gets dug into the ground. So we just pay that as a strip footing as well. So it's just pretty much length by width by depth. We can go through that another time, or I'll mark something up.
Yeah, maybe Di, when you send an email with further questions after rewatching this video, maybe just add the strip footing question on there. So at least, we can mark up a plan and talk about it further.
Or even if you've got a plan already that you want to question, even that might help as well.
Yep.
If you have one.
Yes, that makes sense.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
All righty.
Yeah, we've got two here, and we've got is it the line pump? You know how you said add in wastage for that to be,
For the 1.4
yeah,
cubes.
the 1.4 cubes for the, it's a line pump, yeah? The line pump for the board piers. Is that already allowed for in the takeoff, or is that something you have to always add on?
Add on.
Again, sorry. No, the 1.4 you got to add. Yeah.
I've never seen it, like in the last year.
Yeah. Has there been a
If
change
it's
with
already,
our
yeah, if it's
engineering?
So I need to join it and then stop it. But if I can rejoin it or
Sorry, Steve, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Thanks for your help, Steve.